Hi guys, welcome to another video of Certified Potterheads. Today, we'll be diving into the full story of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. This story takes place 19 years after the main events of the Harry Potter series, when Harry's children have grown up and are ready to attend Hogwarts. We got a glimpse of this in the last movie and the final chapter of the book. So, Harry's eldest son, James Sirius Potter, is heading to school, along with his younger brother, Albus, who feels some pressure about his future at Hogwarts. Harry reassures Albus that each house has a variety of students, and even if he is placed in Slytherin, it wouldn't be a bad thing. After all, he's named after Severus Snape, a former Slytherin who was brave in his own way. Albus feels a bit better and boards the train to Hogwarts. Albus's cousin, Rose, daughter of Hermione and Ron, is also starting her first year and is excited but nervous about making new friends. Albus wants to do something different, so he goes and sits with a boy who's sitting alone in the corner. This boy is someone no one wants to talk to, the son of Draco Malfoy, whom people consider a child of the Dark Lord because of his family history. The boy's name is Scorpius Malfoy. The two boys quickly become friends. Scorpius turns out to be nothing like people imagined. He's innocent and lonely, with a mother who is very ill. People look at him as if he's cursed. In their first year, Albus does not get selected for Gryffindor and is instead placed in Slytherin. He doesn't excel in any subject, whether in class or during Quidditch practice. The whole year he is teased by the other students, and it gets even worse when, in the following year, his younger sister enters the school and gets selected for Gryffindor. People look at him with disdain, as if he's a disgrace to the legacy of the Potters. This starts to bother Albus deeply, and he doesn't even realize when he begins to resent his own father, Harry. He starts feeling burdened by being the famous Harry Potter's son and feels a sense of discomfort about it. From the time Albus began school, people had high expectations of him. Being sorted into a different house made people look at him as if he didn't belong to the Potter family. He wondered why he couldn't just be a regular kid with normal parents. Why did he have to do something extraordinary to be as loved and respected as his father, Harry Potter, known as a hero who saved everyone? His only friend was Scorpius, and people even judged him for being friends with the son of Draco Malfoy, who had a dark past. One day, Scorpius's mother, Astoria Malfoy, passes away due to a long illness, a tragedy that adds to Scorpius's struggles. Astoria was a kind woman, but people still spread rumors about her, saying she came from a cursed family line. This made people even more convinced that Scorpius was somehow cursed as well, which Draco constantly denies. Draco also suffers because of rumors claiming that Voldemort traveled back in time to make Astoria pregnant with Scorpius. Draco even asks Harry, now the head of the Department of Magical Law Enforcement, to publicly declare that all time turners were destroyed years ago when Harry and his friends saved Sirius. Albus and Scorpius, both eager to prove themselves, soon get a chance to do something significant. They discover that Hermione, now the Minister of Magic, has stored an old time turner safely at the Ministry. This news doesn't stay hidden, and soon it reaches Cedric's father, Amos Diggory, who is desperate for closure over his son's death. He approaches Harry, hoping to bring Cedric back using the time turner. But Harry refuses to use any magic to bring back someone from the past, explaining that changing the past would also change the present. Amos is upset because he feels that his son, Cedric, was killed just because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The person who killed him even admitted that he was just an extra person who shouldn't have been there. Amos argues that bringing Cedric back wouldn't change anything for anyone else, but Harry is still not willing to do it. Meanwhile, a girl claiming to be Amos Diggory's niece, who is home for the holidays. Albus becomes infatuated with her beauty. He listens to her talk, and in an effort to impress her and prove himself, he decides that he will take matters into his own hands, planning to save Cedric and bring Amos' son back. That same year, on Christmas, Harry gifts each of his children a special present. His daughter receives a magical feather, James gets something heroic, and to Albus he gives an old blanket, a cherished memento from Lily, Harry's mother. But Albus dismisses it as useless and throws it away, feeling his father doesn't understand him. Albus has long felt that Harry prefers his siblings over him, giving him meaningless things while he struggles with living up to his father's legacy. In a moment of anger, Albus tells Harry he wishes he weren't his son. Hurt, Harry responds that sometimes he wishes Albus weren't his son either. Angered, Albus throws a love potion that his friend Rose had given him as a gift, which creates an explosive reaction, tearing holes in his room. This incident deepens the rift between them, and Albus decides to go on his journey. Meanwhile, Harry begins to feel the familiar pain in his scar after 19 years. Albus and Scorpius make a plan to steal the time turner from Hermione's office. They intend to use it to go back to the first task of the Triwizard Tournament and prevent Cedric from winning, hoping to alter the sequence of events so that Cedric will never reach the graveyard where Voldemort returns. As they embark on this mission, they jump off the moving train, into a river, heading toward the old home of the Diggories. Delphi convinces them to carry out their plan, and the trio heads to the Ministry of Magic. Disguised as Ron, Hermione, and Harry, they infiltrate Hermione's office and steal the time turner. Meanwhile, Harry and the others find out Albus and Scorpius didn't arrive at school and start searching for them. Delphi, Albus, and Scorpius arrive in the Forbidden Forest, where Delphi teaches Albus a specific spell to disarm Cedric, aiming to stop him from completing his task without harming him. During this journey, Albus grows increasingly fond of Delphi, though Scorpius feels uncomfortable with this connection. Dressed in the clothes of Durmstrang students, they blend in as best as they can to avoid being noticed. The trio soon reaches the first task arena, but then realizes the time turner has a restriction. They can only stay in the past for 15 minutes. This isn't like the time turner Harry used back in his third year. They reach the first task involving the dragon, but Scorpius makes a mistake that causes confusion. A suspicious Hermione, seeing the strange situation, begins to question them. Despite being disguised in Bulgarian robes, Scorpius's British accent gives him away. Cedric, however, moves ahead with his task, and Albus uses magic to knock Cedric slightly off course before they are pulled back to the present. However, something seems wrong. When they return, Albus's arm feels strange, as if it had been twisted and healed incorrectly. They notice that the world around them has changed, and Ron and Hermione's relationship is now very different. In pain, Albus collapses and is taken to the hospital, where Madame Pomfrey heals him. Scorpius, shaken by their adventure, considers distancing himself from Albus due to the mounting complications and consequences. Albus talks about keeping a close watch on him and insists on staying in the corridor hall the entire time instead of attending classes. Albus is puzzled as he realizes that Ron's wife is not Hermione, but rather Padma Patil, and they have a son as well, who is in the same year as them. When Albus clarifies that Ron was supposed to be married to Hermione, Ron explains strange things. Albus had once bet that he would be sorted into Gryffindor and asked the Sorting Hat to put him in Gryffindor just to win the bet. It soon becomes clear to Albus that due to changes in the past, he is now in an alternate reality where Hermione is a very strict and unpleasant defense against the dark arts teacher. And Scorpius and Albus are not friends anymore. Meanwhile, Draco goes to Harry's house and tells him that separating the two best friends wasn't the right decision. This causes a conflict between Harry and Draco, which Ginny has to intervene in. Draco explains that leaving someone alone could lead them down the wrong path, just as it did with Voldemort, and he worries that the same could happen with their sons. They all agree on this and use Floo powder to reach the school, where they meet Delphi. She tells Scorpius that she never attended school, and he feels sympathy for her. She also reveals to him that, according to Albus, their previous efforts to change the past didn't make much of a difference, because after losing the first task, Cedric trained hard and won the second task, which changed everything. Both realize they are alone and decide to make friends quickly. Scorpius misses Rose, who no longer exists because Ron and Hermione never married. Rose was never born, and this happened because during the Triwizard Tournament, Hermione spotted Victor Krum casting a spell and grew to dislike people who danced. So, when Victor invited her to the Yule Ball, she refused, and this led her to go with Ron to the ball instead. Ron, however, was dancing with Padma, and she caught his attention. Hermione liked Ron, but his choice of Padma over Hermione made her irritable. In this alternate reality, nothing is right, so they decide to go back in time and embarrass Cedric in front of everyone during the second task of the Triwizard Tournament, causing him to lose. After deciding this, they go to Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, as they are banned from leaving the school. And use Time Turtle, they eat gillyweed and go to a lake. Using the Marauder's map, Harry discovers where the two boys are. They reach the bathroom, where Moaning Myrtle reveals what they are planning to do. At that moment, Harry understands what's going on in the boys' minds. Using the Time Turner, both return to the past. When the second test takes place, as soon as Cedric arrives, Albert and Scorpius cast a spell on him, causing him to inflate. Cedric sees this, but is too late, and he floats up into the sky. Everyone laughs at him. Both of them prepare to return to the present, but this time, only one enters the present world. Albus is nowhere to be found. Hogwarts School has not seen anyone from the Potter family for the past 20 years. Harry Potter was killed in the Battle of Death, and in the present day, Voldemort and Dolores Umbridge are in power. 3 days later, the head boy tells the entire school that they are now calling him the Scorpion King. They are talking about the Blood Uprising, where half-blood children were killed. In this world, the name Potter is replaced by shit term. World Voldemort is used as a term for bravery. Draco is now the Minister for Head, and there is a bird symbol associated with him. On every floral banner, Draco is depicted as an arrogant figure, much like Lucius Malfoy. Voldemort has taken over everywhere. Scorpius goes to the office library to find out what went wrong. He discovers that Cedric Diggory is a Death Eater because, after being humiliated, he sought revenge. In the Battle of Hogwarts, Cedric had killed Neville. Scorpio realizes that this is why Nagini did not die, and the Voldemort was never finished, and Harry had died. He also finds out that there is a potion teacher involved in this matter. Scorpius rushed to the potion class, where he meets Snape, but Snape behaves oppositely to Scorpius. He tells them about the world they came from. In this world, not Voldemort but Harry had died, which caused everything to change. They listen attentively. Snape gets angry. Then Scorpius tells about the Order of the Phoenix and Dumbledore's role as a double agent come to light. They hear about the love he had for Lily, something only Dumbledore knew. Snape begins to believe in what he says. Then, they are taken to the Shrieking Shack, through a secret path. There, they meet Ron and Hermione, who seems to be a warrior. As soon as he sees him, he learns that there are only 3 people left in the Order, while the others have been killed. Scorpius explains the entire world to them, how people used to work, that Ron and Hermione had married, and they had 2 children. Snape was killed by the Voldemort. The group decides that once again, they will go back to the past once again and stop those 2 boys from changing anything. Hermione, Ron, and Scorpius go back to the past in first task and stop them from casting any spells. After a transformation, they return to the present. However, because of the noise, Dementors arrive, as Hermione and Ron are on the wanted list. They send the Snape and Scorpius to second task to stop use spell on Cedric. The Dementors take Ron's spirit, and this sight makes Scorpio horrified. Just then, Umbridge arrives and sees Snape helping Ron and Hermione. Her credibility turns into reality. She sends Dementors after him. Snape uses his Patronus to create a doe, which chases the Dementors away until it reaches the Scorpius Lake. The Dementors drain Snape's soul, and his doe vanishes. Scorpius then jumps into the water, stops Albus doing anyone. Then, both of them return to the present time. In this timeline, things seem to return to normal. Scorpius tells Albus what happened, and all seems calm. Harry takes Albus to his office and scolds him for misusing the time turner. Later, Harry explains to Albus that he never really had a choice. He had to make difficult decisions, whether it was witnessing the deaths of others or fighting in the war. Albus feels remorse, and life returns to normal, though Harry continues to have haunting dreams. Scorpius and Albus decides to break the time turner, and Delphi volunteers to do it herself. However, as she takes the time turner, Scorpius notices a tattoo on her back, revealing her connection to Voldemort. She reveals a prophecy about her rise to power and ties the boys up before breaking the time turner, which is intended to prevent certain events in history. She takes them both to the Quidditch pitch so that she can stop Cedric from dying in the third task, which would bring back the world, who was ruled by Delphi. Now Delphi tell about the prophecy. When spares are spared, when time is turned, when overshadowed sons kill their fathers, then shall the Dark Lord return. When spares are spared refers to Cedric Diggory, who was seen as a spare by Lord Voldemort and killed by Peter Pettigrew during the duel in Little Hangleton. When time is turned refers to Delphine's use of the time turner to go back in time and save Cedric's life. When unseen children murder their fathers refers to Albus Severus Potter, who was seen as unseen by his father and caused Cedric to become a Death Eater. Then Dark Lord return. Meanwhile, Draco talks to Ron, Hermione, and Harry, where Ron said he saw Albus with his blue-haired girlfriend. Now Harry understands that Ron is talking about Delphi. When they investigate further and talk to Amos, they find out that he is not related to any family members they know. Finally, they find out his true identity with the help of a professor. Now all three come to the third task. Scorpius and Albus attempt to use the time turner for a quick 5-minute jump, but find it is locked. Delphi is about to attack them, but Cedric, mistaking it for part of the Triwizard Tournament, saves them and moves forward. Just in time, Delphi uses the time turner again, sending them all back to October 30th, 1981. The night Voldemort lost his body trying to kill baby Harry. Delphi breaks the time turner, explaining that she intends to alter the prophecy by killing Harry herself, stopping the prophecy predicted by Trelawney. The others realize the full prophecy, with an added note that reads, "I will take back my father." They finally understand that Delphi is actually Voldemort's daughter. Harry decides to inform the Ministry, but Draco reveals that the time turner they used was a mere replica, and that the original one is with Scorpius, who had not shared this information earlier to avoid causing misunderstandings about Scorpius's lineage. Now that the truth is clear, Scorpius is relieved to know he isn't Voldemort's child. Albus and Scorpius plan how to reach others with a message, deciding to send a message on Harry's baby blanket, his last keepsake from his parents. Since they realize the message would be seen by others if sent through time, they consider writing it with invisible ink that will only appear later. After brainstorming, they figure out a way to use the feather dust from a magical creature mixed with a love potion, rendering the ink invisible until the potion reacts to it. They decide to go to Bathilda Bagshot's house where she always opens the door. In the home, they demiguise feather and a wand, then write, "Dad, help Godric Hollow 311081 on the blanket." When Harry is sitting with the blanket and Ginny is also with him, they notice the love potion starts revealing the message. Eventually, they all use the time tunnel and come to Scorpius and Albus, and explain everything to Harry about Delphi. Now they all hide in the church so that they can see everything and no one can see them. Harry disguises himself as Voldemort with the help of a polyjuice potion and speaks Parseltongue, tricking Delphi into coming out. She reveals her identity as Voldemort's daughter and recounts the prophecy that once Harry dies, Voldemort will rise again. Delphi speaks in Parseltongue and flies without a broom, proving her lineage. The magic begins to wear off, and Harry returns to his own form, telling Delphi that he will not harm her. However, Delphi seals the doors, preparing to finish Harry herself. Harry defends himself as Delphi fires a deadly spell. Albus arrives in time and helps Harry dodge. During the fight, Delphi attempts to escape, but Harry catches her in a final duel. As she begs for mercy, claiming she only wanted to meet her father, Harry decides that her punishment will be to live in isolation, just as he had due to Voldemort. Back in the present, Delphi is sent to Azkaban for time manipulation, using the time turner and other charges. Life returns to normal, but they're left with reflections on the importance of not tampering with time. So friends, that's the story of the cursed child. Some believe the name cursed child should refer to Delphi rather than Albus, as her fate was shaped by her parentage. What do you think? Comment your thoughts below. Don't forget to like and share this video. I'll be back soon with a new video. Until then, bye-bye.